Hello and welcome to the Underground Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Kasper, and we have a very exciting program today. We have a special guest that's going to come on as well. But before we do that, I'd like to thank our wonderful, wonderful sponsors. First of all, Muscle Goat Protein, the best protein on the planet. Great flavors, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. They taste great, and here's the best part. No chemicals, no fillers, no mass production. And what that means is this, folks, is the goats, the lab, the farm, manufacturing facility, all on the same property. Are there many companies out there to do that? No, not at all. MuscleGoat.com is the best protein, taste-wise and purity-wise, as well as protein-wise on the planet. And one other thing I forgot to mention, every morning the goats are fed apple cider vinegar in their water, so delicious. The next sponsor we want to thank is Power Pack 3. That's right, Power Pack 3. They're right down here, as you can see. There we go. Probiotics, digestive enzyme multivitamin packets from the lab right to you. No middleman, no warehouse, no nothing. Made on special machinery, so that, again, no cross-contamination. If you need great, not good, but great probiotics, digestive enzyme multivitamin packets, Power Pack 3 is the best around the globe. And our final sponsor, I must thank, is a great product, and that would have to be Mom's Butter. That's right, that's Mom's Butter, as you see down there. That picture you're looking at as I point is my mother, Lenore Kasper from Staten Island. And last summer, her and I worked together. We designed this great butter made from goat ghee. So that's one ingredient. Again, that's one ingredient. And in a future show, we're gonna bring my mom on too, it'd be fun. But it's made from great goats who have, again, no chemicals, no fillers, and no cross-contamination, no machinery that ever touches cows. And it's very, very important. If you're a person who is looking for purity, looking for the best ingredients, you want things like that, folks, things that your body can break down and absorb much more easily. So with Power Pack 3, with Muscle Goat, with Mom's Butter, these are all great products. Fantastic. And they work, they're effective, no fillers, no chemicals, no nothing. And the bottom line, folks, is all people of all ages can take them. So again, I thank you. So let's get into some heavy stuff now, if we can. And talk about is last week we had a very controversial program, very controversial program. And that involved talking about drunk driving, which is a big thing. As a lot of you know, a week and a half ago, I was hit by a drunk driver. I was at 8:15 in the morning on Tramway and Tramway and Manal. I got rear-ended at a red light, and it hurt. It did that. My car got totaled, which really doesn't matter, but I'm here. I'm a little banged up, feeling a little better, but it was scary. This person could have killed someone, myself or anyone else, and she hit a couple of cars going through as well, completely intoxicated and texting as well. So I think it's interesting that during this past few weeks, I spoke to a number of my friends, and almost every one of them, the guys, have said this to me: Joe, at some point in my life, I was drinking and driving. I'm like, wow. Yeah, at some point, whether it was 10 years ago, 20, 30, 5 years ago, whatever, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And then I started to think, that alcohol is a big thing. It is a big thing. It's advertised, again, in our society as it's good for you. Come on, let's be real. If you enjoy it, that's your business. But as I mentioned in the earlier shows, when women are pregnant, they're not. So use some logic, So the people out there who are trying to give you a bunch of BS, come on. If you decide that you want alcohol in your body, you're allowed to. But and don't tell people their tolerance level is, because you really don't know. Everyone is so different. Some people, one drink, that's it. 2, 3, whatever it is. But remember, alcohol is hard on the liver. Every person I've ever met who's had a drinking problem, every single one of them has had health issues down the road. All of them. And they all said, you know what? I shouldn't have done this. Shouldn't have done this. But it's such a huge thing in our world. Excuse me, it really is. And let's talk about athletics, okay? Because athletics is a big thing when it comes to alcohol. They sponsor everything. So it's a really big thing. What do people do after games? Have a beer. Men, women, it doesn't matter. But we live in a world now where we have access to Uber and different things. So common sense. I mean, let's be real. People celebrate birthdays, weddings, holidays. They're going to drink, most people. But if you want to, that's your business. But here's the thing that freaks me out. If you don't want to, I don't think you should be ostracized. I can put it this way, and I admit this, I'm not a drinker. I drank, high school a little bit. I didn't like it. Why did I do it? Because everyone else did. How stupid I was. And I decided at a certain point, I said, you know what? I'm 52 years young, and this is a long time ago now, but I did not want to wreck my body. People go, well, Joe, that's obnoxious. It's egotistic. Yeah, it is. I agree. But if I don't want to leave my body to science fiction, that's my business. So I decided, you know what? I don't want to put alcohol in my body. I still go out. I have fun. My friends drink, and they never pressure me. My real friends never pressure me. The other people, not real friends. Not real. So that's kind of crazy. I know it sounds nuts, but when I go out dancing, I go out with my friends or whatever, I have a great time. I don't need it personally. Now, some people do. That's fine. That's your business. But as we mentioned on the last show, I'm tired of hearing people say, my kids, my kids, my kids. I want them to have a great life. Great. That's awesome. But what are you doing to be their role model? If every night when you come home from work, you have a couple of beers or a couple of glasses of wine, don't be shocked that your teenagers pick up that habit for the rest of their life. Then what? Then you're going to be mad at them or disappointed that they had an alcohol problem possibly. So use some intelligence. Use some intelligence. Because again, alcohol, drinking and driving, it's getting worse and worse and worse, and then with the texting. So just think about it. Really, really think about what you want to do. At a certain point, I remember my mom explained to me when she was in her 20s, she drank, and at one point she's like, okay, I'm getting married, I have kids, that's it. I don't need to do this on a regular basis. That's simple. But some people can't. It becomes an addiction. And if you need alcohol rehab, go. I've known a number of people who have gone. It's okay. If I had a drinking problem, I don't, but if I did, I'd go. I would. I absolutely would go. So there are people who can help you. There really are. But the people in sports, be careful because it's huge. The alcohol and the drugs are a tremendous part of professional sports and amateur sports. It always has been and it always will be. That's the truth. So on that note, folks, a little bit sad, I know. We're going to come back in a few minutes, and we're going to bring on a great guest, and we're going to talk more about athletics, drunk driving, and alcoholism. I'll see you in a minute. Thank you.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
For 55 years, people have bought trucks from Tillery in Los Lunas. We have a great selection of vehicles, the quality service department, and some of the best deals in the state. But most importantly, we found people prefer to buy trucks from people who actually drive trucks.
Tillery is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Locally owned and operated, located in Los Lunas, right off I-25, exit 203.
Hello, folks. I'm Dr. Joe Kasper. And when it comes to protein, there's a lot of different products out there. And I'm going to tell you flat out, Muscle Goat protein is the best protein on the market. No chemicals, no fillers. The goats are fed apple cider vinegar in their water every morning. No cows on the property, no cross-contamination. And people who have any kind of health issues can use it. For more information, go to www.musclegoat.com.
Don't forget, every ProView Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewNetworks.com to buy your DVD today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
Folks, welcome back to the Underground Health Club. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Kasper. And we ended the last segment talking about athletics and alcohol being a huge problem. And I mentioned it always was, always is now, always will be in the future. And people are going to be like, Joe, we're going to fix it. I don't think so. So during this segment, I'm going to bring on a great guest who is a recovering alcoholic, a great guy, and former great athlete as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our producer, Dana Childs. Dana, welcome to the show you produce.
Yeah, thank you
Underground
very
Health
much,
Club. Great to have
Dr.
you.
Joe Kasper. It's so nice to be on the Underground Health Club. I really appreciate what you do and promote healthy living, and not just through the supplements that are available, but you offer other advice on sleep. We had a great show on that.
We did.
You bring in other people throughout the business community and see what they're doing to contribute. So I think your show provides a great benefit. So I'm glad to be here today to talk about a sensitive subject.
Yeah, it's very sensitive. By the way, my hand hurt when he shook it. Put your hand up for a second, Dana. These guys have huge mitts, as they say. Exactly. Not rumor, but fact is you played football for Hall of Fame coach Tom Osborne in Nebraska. Is that correct?
I did. I played there for 1 year. My first year of college, wanted to play football.
Right.
If you grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska, that's where you want to play football. And I was lucky to have that opportunity, but alcohol got in the way of that, so I wasn't going to class, and I wasn't able to fulfill my lifelong dream. So there's clue number 5, probably, by the time I was 18 and entering college, that alcohol could have been a problem in my life.
Let me ask you this, too, because it's interesting. And I mentioned on the last part of the episode that when I go to parties and functions and I tell people I don't drink, if they ask me, instead of going, that's great, they go, really, what's wrong with you? Isn't that interesting? And I'm not an alcoholic. I'm very blessed. I was never addicted to alcohol. I just never liked the taste of it, really. And it's funny how if you don't drink, they think something's wrong with you. So let me ask you a question. Why is that, Dana? Why does it have to be like that? Like there's something
Well,
wrong
that's
with
public perception, Dr. Joe. As you mentioned earlier, it's wildly, freely promoted alcohol
Right.
as being a beneficial part of any celebration. So it's just socially acceptable. But for a certain segment everyone thinks it's okay to drink.
Right.
And the people that are asking you that question are a bit befuddled because they don't understand the true nature of what an alcoholic is and what the disease is all about, and it is an actual disease.
Yes.
American Medical Association classified it as a legitimate disease. So some people are afflicted with it and some aren't. So the people that are asking you that question, this is an assumption, are probably what we call normies. People that can have a beer. Hey, I'm going to stop home on the way home, have a beer and go home. For an alcoholic, that beer turns into 6, which into 10, which is 5 more bars, and then a drunk driving excursion home.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing that the people asking you that question, when they look at you like you don't drink, with a question mark, feel that it's completely socially acceptable, and they probably don't have a problem with it.
It's funny, and I'll get, well, studies show it's healthy for you. I like that one.
Some, and I imagine in some small quantities, it could be. I mean, beer, wine, there's natural things in there. It's fermented, they're natural ingredients, but I don't, it's not part of my vitamin regime anymore.
I get it. Here's a funny part, though, and I use this as a common sense thing. When a woman is pregnant, she's not supposed to drink. So wouldn't common sense say, don't do that on a regular basis? Mm-hmm. Most things in life really come down to common sense.
Alcohol is a terrible drug, Dr. Joe. It is. It affects the brain. It affects the mind, your thinking. I mean, and the physical effects of your liver, for example.
Yes.
And not to mention the psychological and mental effects when you start to make bad decisions. So it is a drug, and it should be treated as such and respected because of its power. And again, the advice and experience I'm sharing here today, it doesn't apply to everyone. It applies to the few people that are drunk at 8 o'clock in the morning and crash in their car, and people that have had their 7th, 8th, 9th DWI. People where alcohol is a problem in your life. Maybe you're an alcoholic, and maybe what I'm saying today might get through to you where the other messages have fallen on deaf ears. That's my ultimate goal here today, Joe, is just to try to maybe explain some of the symptoms and offer a solution and say, hey, it happened to me. I'm not perfect. I'm not Mr. Recovery by any means, but I have a way of living now that helps me live without alcohol and helps me think of other people and do better things with my time.
Let me ask you a couple questions, because this is great information you're giving us, because I can't completely understand what you're going through because I never have. And that's the whole point of it. And bringing you on is really going to empower people. So when you got to college, you mentioned how, so you had a drinking problem in college, right? You started that.
Oh, it started probably sophomore year of high school, weekends.
So
we weren't quite old enough to drink. Yeah, 15 is when it became a regular thing.
You didn't,
sophomore in high school.
You didn't realize it? You just...
It was fun. I was ahead of the curve on that one. Now the other kids weren't partying as much as me, so I thought it was a badge of courage, something to look up to. I was breaking the rules. I was a badass.
Right.
Look at us. We're out drinking, raising hell. What's wrong with you guys?
I see.
See, it was kind of role reversal there.
Right.
You're not drinking. You see, when you're 15, what's wrong with you? So anyway.
And it's funny because now I'm thinking back. So I remember when I was in high school, we did start drinking then.
Mm-hmm.
And and the ones who were like drank more, it's like they were considered cooler. You're right. Wow, I didn't think of that. They weren't, but that was the thought.
Sure, the kids that smoked, the bad kids.
Right.
Yeah, but yet still we're able to get to class, fulfill our obligations to be on the team, and even though everybody probably knew we were, getting smashed on the weekends, we were still able to pull our grades and fulfill our obligation to our coaches, teammates in the school.
Now, I remember this in high school. I remember some of the best athletes I could have ever seen who got addicted to alcohol, drugs, different things, and I'm like saying to myself, you have the chance to be a professional, a college scholarship, whatever, and you're going to tank it. And my question always is why? Why?
That's a great question, and the answer lies within the individual.
Yeah.
The drive to self-destruction is something that everyone deals with, I think, at some point in their life, but with somebody that's afflicted with alcoholism or maybe some other mental issues as well. There can be a certain amount of pleasure in self-destruction and self-masochistic kind of things, and a lot of that, sadly, is just based on fear. It's just a mental perception that I can achieve that, but then what? How am I going to maintain that? Or no, I can't achieve that, so I'm not even going to try. So a lot of fear goes into a lot of decisions that we make, and it's a debilitating thing. And you can completely sober. You can make or not make decisions based on fear.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a scary thing, and it's funny because I remember some of my friends, their parents who drank, their kids wind up drinking. It's kind of like, birds of a feather flock together. You do what you learn. But I saw some of my dad's habits of not being healthy, and I said, that's not happening to me. So, I saw from what he did wrong, and I said, I'm not going to do that.
Well, you're lucky that you are not afflicted with it. It's not an absolute, but there's plenty of evidence that indicates that alcoholism is a hereditary disease.
Right. No, my dad was an alcoholic. I was talking about like
the,
so he didn't take care of his heart. I mean, that's why he had a heart attack.
Yeah,
things like that.
But there are environmental concerns and situations and conditions that can contribute to someone's use and abuse of alcohol. But if you're an alcoholic, I think you're born with it. Certainly you can develop the tendencies and abuse it, but if you're alcoholic, you got it. It's, and you do, but it's such a tricky thing because the disease says, no, you don't, because you're fine, you're great.
Right.
Look at you got your car, your house, your wife, things are going great. How can alcohol be a problem in your life? But so there's that's the self-justification, which can feed your denial, which helps you not admit and then get to attacking the problem. But if your friends are saying, hey, then maybe they're right, and it's hard to listen to them, but they're your friends, and if they are your friends, they do love you and they do care about you. It might be worth listening to you because they want to stay your friends, and if you continue to drink and act like you are, you're going to alienate everybody. It becomes a very lonely place. By the time you hit bottom on this trip, it's a pretty lonely place.
Wow, okay. Well, listen, we got to go to commercial because the producer's there now, not you, but we got to go to commercial. Guys, we'll be back in about a minute. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with ProView Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Hello, folks. I'm Dr. Joe Kasper. And when it comes to protein, there's a lot of different products out there. And I'm going to tell you flat out, Muscle Goat protein is the best protein on the market. No chemicals, no fillers. The goats are fed apple cider vinegar in their water every morning. No cows on the property, no cross-contamination. And people who have any kind of health issues can use it. For more information, go to www.musclegoat.com.
Wondering if you can afford the ring of her dreams? At Crown Jewels & Coin, we actually double the diamond for what you would pay at a chain store. Trade in your old jewelry towards GIA certified diamonds. Choose from a large selection of settings featuring Viraggio. We can customize a design and offer no credit check 2-year interest-free financing. Get more than you ever thought possible here at Albuquerque's family jeweler for over 50 years. Crown Jewels & Coin, for all you treasure. 3248 San Mateo at Kruger's Corner.
Don't forget, every ProView Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewNetworks.com to buy your DVD today.
Hello, folks. I'm Dr. Joe Kasper, and welcome back to the third segment of the Underground Health Club. This segment, based on the second part, is going to get very, very deep. Our guest here, Dana Childs, our producer, is talking about his addiction to alcohol. And we're going to share some more stories, but then we're also going to come up with some solutions that he knows way better than I do. So, Dana, welcome back. I'm glad you're still here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here too. I say that every day when I wake up now. It's a whole new, different way of living.
That's
I
great.
wake up and I'm glad to be awake and embrace the day and see what I can do.
You know, it's funny you say that. When I got into that car wreck on, I guess it'll be 2 weeks on Friday, I didn't care about the car being totaled. I really didn't. I was able to get out of that car. Okay?
Yeah.
Just with some bruises in my head, whatever. But I was thankful I'm here. And two things went through my head. One, when I got the car, I'm glad I got the bigger model that I didn't want originally for a few dollars more, because I had a small car. The truck would have traveled another 5 feet or so and would have got me in the head. Good chance, and I might not be here. And the lady who was texting, and I just thought she was texting, and I found out, afterwards she was intoxicated. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? And then, as you know, I mentioned in the other show that a lot of us are flawed, and I'm very flawed. I don't know we show it, but I am. And I've dated not one, not two, but 3 alcoholics who were alcoholics when I was dating them, not recovering ones. So there's something wrong with me. So,
It's an exciting life. I understand.
No,
the
I didn't.
lure.
No,
I absolutely understand what you're going through in that
I did not
situation.
like it. No, I didn't like it.
Sure, it's fun at the time, though.
No.
No, really?
No.
Then we should stop smiling about it.
You know why I did it? A rescue mission. I could save,
Yeah.
I think I'm Superman sometimes. No, it was more, I could rescue you, I could save you.
Mm-hmm.
2 out of 3 I did save. That's not bad. But
Get you in the Hall of Fame there.
I don't know about that. But,
Right.
but you mentioned before about with athletics, and then I think we said off air that you were married and the alcohol caused you a problem with your marriage.
Alcohol caused a problem in every aspect of my life, professionally, at work, personally with my friends, socially, being a risk on the road, and yeah, of course, obviously, at home with the marriage, and then eventually with a child.
Well, so what steps did you take to recover? And I want to talk about that. Like, when did you realize I got a problem? It's time to fix this. Like I'm had enough. I guess here's the word I'm looking for here is, when was the pain so great that you had enough?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm glad you brought that up because each suffering addict or alcoholic, and we use alcoholic because that's my situation, so that's what I'm sharing, but my situation, my story, and the affliction and how it affects people applies to addicts. It can be cocaine, it can be gambling, it can be sex, it can be food. Whatever you obsess about, and when you start, you cannot stop, that's alcoholic behavior. Okay. And it can be applied to spending money. It could be applied to money, property, and prestige. Maybe you're on a power trip. You get joy and things out of that. So, and once you start on it, you can't stop, and you get carried away in doing that. You hurt other people. That's alcoholic behavior. So you don't necessarily have to be an alcoholic or an addict to exhibit alcoholic behavior. And after you do that enough, though, you do hit bottom. Things get lonely. My situation was we were in marriage counseling, and the wife and the marriage counselor said, "Dana, you're an alcoholic." And I said, "What, me? What about her?" And so, which that's her thing. I don't want to bring her into it, but the the focus was on me, and it's like, yeah, I had to admit. So what happened was he gave me the name of a guy in Los Alamos who had helped literally thousands of other people. He worked at the lab, and he helped people that were suffering from all kinds of different afflictions. And funny that you mentioned the steps, because there were specific steps that he suggested that I take to arrest my use and abuse of alcohol. And the first one was to admit that I was an alcoholic. And once I do that, then your mind starts to clear. I realized I had more money instantly. My lunch tabs were half.
Oh, okay.
Not having beers with lunch. I remember the number. It went from 40 to 20 bucks. This is in 1995. So
it's a lot of money for lunch.
Lunch tabs were half, so I felt better. I had more money, and so I was hooked. I wanted to proceed and find out about these other suggestions that people offered. But one thing I learned is that there is no cure. There's no pill. There's no operation. There's no surgery. There's a solution, though. And it's a disease that afflicts people. It's a legitimate disease, and it afflicts some people. And if you are one of those, you think you might be. The great news is that the solution, there's no cure, but there is a solution to your problem, and it comes from within. And you're going to be so grateful that you admitted you were an alcoholic, because you're going to be offered this way of life that's far better than anything you ever could have imagined. So you talk about turning a negative into a positive, Joe. The people that I know in recovery that have been successful at it, they're amazing.
So these solutions that you have, can you help the people? Because some people out there need your help, Dana.
Well, it's first of all, find a counselor, a rehab. Alcoholics Anonymous is a great place. They've saved a lot of people. 266-1900 here locally in Albuquerque. There's always somebody there. 266-1900, and they'll offer you help. But the trick is to reach out for help. First thing is you got to admit there's a problem, and then reach out for help. Talk to somebody. Talk to people at work. Human Resources is a great place to start. They're confidential. There are anonymous programs that will maintain your anonymity, and there's a lot of ways to go about it. But the first step is they admit it. Get sick and tired of being sick and tired and living in the dark. It's a horrible, lonely, desperate place. And then all of a sudden you get some really crazy ideations. So if you're thinking that, feeling that, talk to somebody, please. Get some help. They'll guide you into the right place, and then be willing to take some suggestions. But be honest, clean house, admit what you did, get some spirituality, and try to help others. That's how I get out of my own sickness, is by helping you, and that's what I'm trying to do here today. That's my only mission, is to try and tell a relatable story that might hit a nerve with some people, and then help change their lives for the better.
We are running out of time. Because you put your email on the screen. Can people email you or reach out to you, Dana? Maybe you can help them with that.
They could. The email address, it's not on the screen. I'm sorry we didn't prepare that. But it's DTC, those are my initials, Dana Treadway Childs.
Right.
THC, which are my son's initials. The number is 2011 at Gmail. So that's DTC, THC, 2011 at Gmail.
I really appreciate it.
We're glad to hear from you, and be happy to guide you to the right place. And that, by offering that help, and if I'm able to help someone, then that helps me stay sober another day.
Right. If you help even one person, you saved a life.
Because then they can help another, and that becomes exponential. That's the great thing. There's millions of people worldwide, every country, are practicing the same thing and living an alcohol-free day to day, and living a spiritual light on the sunny side of the street, able to help, saved, and able to help others.
Well, Dana, thank you so much.
My pleasure for the opportunity.
You're a real gentleman. Thanks for not breaking my hand.
Yeah, sorry.
Not
Good luck with your car and your recovery and your accident. I'm sorry that happened to you.
You know what? Thank you. I'm blessed I'm here, and I count my lucky stars every day. So thank you, Dana.
Sure.
Folks, listen, this was great program, very emotional for Dana Charles to come out here and explain what happened in his life, and there's more to this. So anyway, folks, I do want to thank you for listening. I want to thank our great sponsors, and we're going to pop them up on the screen in a second. Muscle Goat Protein for the best protein in the world, Power Pack 3, and Mom's Butter. Thank you so much for sponsoring the Underground Health Club with Dr. Joe Kasper, which is me, and we really appreciate it. And folks out there, please be careful with alcohol. Be careful. Your life matters. God bless. Bye now.